Hi everybody, hope you're well. This video is requested by Piotr Katan. I hope I said your name right. So how easy is it to create good horses for cheap prices? Now, what I think it depends on first off is what for you is a good horse. Whether that's the genetic potential, whether that's the skills or something else. So I think really to start off with, if we decided that for example, we wanted a quarter horse and we wanted to have the best quarter horses, or at least some of the highest quarter horses, we might go into the sales and have a look and see what's the highest genetic potential we can buy, what our budget is, and then we go and find a horse that's suitable to that. So once you've done that and you've got a rough idea, I think there's a couple of other things you need to think about. I mean, you could go in and you could buy the best current available quarter horse, but then you might find that there's no covers in public. So that's another thing you want to keep in mind. If you're going to buy something out of direct sales, make sure that there's public coverings that are around the same level, so that you can actually improve the horse quite rapidly. Otherwise, if you have very, very low coverings out in terms of genetic potential, for example, and you have a really high mare, you're going to get like averagey foals that aren't going to be better than the mare. So you want to make sure you get a nice mare or a nice colt or whatever, and then use good covers, okay? Or you might decide that you want to buy two. Okay, you could do that as well. And then use those as your foundation base. I think one of the other ways really, the cheapest way to produce good horses and do it for probably the smallest amount of cost is actually to be in a team. Because if you think about it in terms of if you're in a team with people and you're working on creating horses, you've got a spreaded cost, you've got, as long as everybody's pulling their weight, obviously, you've got more people in the team who have more resources, and hopefully that means that you can get more horses blopped, more foals produced. So I think joining a team might be what you want to do, might not necessarily be what you want to do, because you might decide that, no, you don't want to join a team, that's not for you. So you need to think about that. I think the other thing is, as well, is if you're somebody that doesn't want to be in a team, you might have to just decide that, okay, it is going to take a little bit more, it's going to cost a little bit more, it's going to take a bit more of my time, and so forth, and you're going to have to work alone doing that. But I think you need a plan for that. So for me, I think when it comes down to creating good horses for cheap prices, I think the start of it's always the most expensive bit. I think, like, whenever I started, I didn't realise that I didn't have to use a huge amount of BM items. I've now got it down really that I just need edging points. Like, I do have a GA coat, but I got the GA coat because I had diamonds saved up for my divines and I used it to put the coat on. But basically what I focused on was making sure that I had sufficient aging points to be able to blop a mare. So therefore I don't need to use an MA. I don't need passes to complete that. I don't need to cover her in BM items that she doesn't need. I don't need to breed foals using BM items because I'm only breeding for genetics. I'm not worried about breeding a skiller right now. If I wanted to breed a skiller, of course I could at some stage. But I want to be thinking about reducing costs. So if you're just trying to create better horses genetically, don't cover all your horses in loads of BM items. Save your BM items and think about it that way. You want to be thinking about, do I really need this Medusa's blood in this horse? Do I really need to use this MA? If you really don't, then you can probably reduce your costs, save up those items, and possibly, be able to sell them off in the exchanges, maybe get more money and maybe buy yourself a better horse or something like that, or whatever you need to buy. I think really it comes down to cutting your costs down as much as possible. I mean, obviously one of the things that I probably should say is that, you can go into the sales and you can buy reasonably good horses for maybe a pass. And you just need to get something to get you started if you're looking to do that. Now, it might be a case that you want to buy good skillers for reasonably cheap prices. And if that's the case, then you're going to have a look in direct sales, have a look for skilder geldings, okay? I'm just going to put it off quarter horses for this. They're probably going to cost passes because most skillers cost passes. Have a look, see what prices they are. Obviously, you might want to buy one that's not skilled yet. Then, of course, you're going to have to spend passes, possibly items on all these to get it skilled. You have to find an EC. If you want to see how to skill properly, go look at my skill videos. But then you might decide, no, actually, I want to buy a really well-skilled horse that's already skilled. And the truth of the matter is, you don't generally get them cheap. You usually do have to dish out a reasonable amount of passes. Obviously, as the horse gets older, and the longer it's been out, and the better other horses get, the price of the skiller will go down, but obviously that skiller won't be as good as it once was. So, I personally think that if you're going to, try and produce horses for as cheaply as possible, you first want to figure out what is a good horse to you, why that is, and then you want to think about where you're spending either passes or BM items or equus where you don't need to. And obviously experiment a bit and see exactly where that might be. Is there ways that you could speed up or reduce the amount of time it takes? Because it might just be a case that, you've got it down, but it's still taking you too much time to do things, and you want to speed that up. It might be something else you want to work on. I'm trying to think what else. It's kind of a hard question to answer, like with a short and simple one. But I think the things to focus on is what makes a good horse for you, what is a cheap price for you. Look in the sales, see what you're looking to get. You might not be able to get exactly what you want. You might be able to get close to that, and then you can work on improving it and making it better and breeding yourself better horses. And don't go and buy a really expensive mare, which is a really good GP, and then find out that in the public coverings that there's no stallions high enough. Because if you buy, just for example, if you bought a 2000 GP mare in sales, quarter horse for example, purebred, and you went into the public coverings and you thought, right, I want to look for around 2000 GP quarter horse stallion. And you go into those covers and there are no quarter horse stallions with 2000 GP. Maybe there's only one with 500 GP. You might be thinking, well, this isn't great, because if you cover that 500 GP onto your 200 GP mare, you're not going to get a better foal than the mare. You're going to get a foal that's better than the stallion, but worse than the mare. So take that into consideration. I mean, it might be a case that you just have to do that to get yourself a reasonable foal, then block that foal, breed it to the mare, get a slightly better one, and just keep going until you get something that's the same level as the mare. But it does take a bit of time. So you might save yourself a bit of frustration if you look at the public covers first and then compare it to direct sales. But one of the best ways, I think, is to work with a team and to work with people that you want to work with, that you get on well with, and you have fun and enjoy your time, because I think that makes for a much more enjoyable experience. You don't want to work with people that you don't like or you don't get along with. And definitely working in a team is a lot more cost effective, because if, for example, you were blopping, if you had to blop 20, okay, on your own as a lone wolf, okay, if you're in a team with 4 people, they could maybe all do a few each, okay, and therefore you didn't have to blop all 20. It was spread, a cost spread throughout the team, and yet you still got more GP. You still got the same amount of GP or whatever in gain. So I think, really, if you want to breed good horses and cheaply, I think it's best to work with a team and work together to improve your horses and to do better. Okay, that's honestly, I think, probably the best way, because working with a team is more cost effective. Don't join a team though if you're simply just looking to join it, blob a horse, take the horse and run away, because you will be blacklisted for life by a lot of people for that, because I don't think it's a nice thing to do. I think it's quite dishonest and not nice at all to do to somebody. So if you're deciding to work with somebody, do work with them because you want to work with them and you want to have a good working relationship with them and a team, okay? Not to just gain off other people and use people. That's not what a team's about. A team is about working as a team. There's like that saying is, there's no I in team. So make sure that you work together and everybody kind of contributes. So that is kind of how to work and make good horses for cheap prices. I think building on that, if you're saying, well, I don't know how to blow up and I don't know how to breed higher genetic potential, go and have a look at my horse blow up tutorial videos for 2015. They're new, there's loads of information in there which will help with that. So thank you to Piotr Katan for requesting the video. Hope you said your name right and hope you had a lovely day, guys. Bye bye.